Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your timeless angel reading. Even though this is timeless, I'm still going to do the 7 card horseshoe spread because that is the spread I am the most comfortable with. For your past, we have Page of Wands. Page of Wands. Page of Wands is all about ideas. In the past, you had some sort of idea you were focused on, and this could have been anything. I mean, it could have been a person, it could have been a job, it could have been anything. And I haven't really looked at these in a while, but you could have been feeling sociable in the past. Maybe you felt like entertaining people. I don't know what you do for a living. You could be a tarot reader like me. I don't know what you do, but you may have felt sociable and like you wanted to be entertained or you wanted to entertain. You could also be thinking about making travel plans to explore new places. Now, as a situation, the card often comes up in readings to show a fun fling or new relationship, and in personal and work matters, new creative ideas and projects get underway. I also think of like a free spirit. Somebody who's planning on doing some fun things in the future or getting involved in a group project. So that's what we have going on with the Page of Wands for the past. Clarifying the Page of Wands for the past, we have Two of Wands, uncertainty. Well, not Two of Wands, Two of Swords, uncertainty, Four of Pentacles, control, and Five of Wands, tests. So it's almost like you had some sort of inner conflict. Even though you wanted to be sociable, you had some sort of inner conflict. Like you may have had reservations about it. The Five of Wands shows you around people with strong opinions. So you may struggle to be heard. So if you were socializing, you may have been around people who had strong opinions, just like you, since you're a fixed sign. But this applies to work meetings, families, and other groups, testing your patience and communication skills. So it tests your communication skills because it's easier to revert back to childlike communication, isn't it? It's easier to be like, no, I'm right, you're wrong. But you couldn't really speak that way around these people because you're an adult and you were probably around grown adults. But much of the noise is the ego talking, and you may need to listen carefully to extract facts from the sea of boasting. So you could have been around people that were boasting certain things, and you don't need to look at their words, look at the facts. You know, if somebody claims they're rich, but they're driving in an old beat up car, obviously they're not rich. So the key to this Five of Wands in the social situation was to extract facts. Extracting facts. Hold your position. Your time to speak up for yourself will come. Overall, there is tension and a need for solid agreement. The card also comes up in readings to show conflict at work. So some of you could have been entertaining at work and maybe the boss showed up and the boss was like, hey, get back to work. But we also have the Four of Pentacles, which is control. So you were holding on to something with this Four of Pentacles. And as it relates to the Five of Wands card, you could have been holding on to your ego. You know, we all have an ego, and there are spiritual people that will tell you, oh, the key is to not have an ego. No, everyone has an ego. That is yourself. I mean, it's not your essential self, it's not your feelings, but it's how you survive in the world. We don't need the super ego, but we need an ego to maintain our identity, to even survive in this world. But you could have been holding on to the ego, and you could have been suffering from some sort of financial stress as well. You could have been saving money. So if you were hanging out with people and you were socializing, if you bought anything, you still kept to your budget. And this also speaks about relationships being stable and content. So even if you had a disagreement with somebody in the past, you maintained your stability. You did not fly off the handle, which is a good thing. I mean, you fly off the handle, it's going to drive people away. But you could have also had some sort of traditional attitude or been stuck in an old habit or belief. Security may be what we all wish for, but too much emphasis on the material world can stifle an adventurous spirit. Try to find a balance that works for you. You could have also been dealing with people with traditional attitudes, like say if you're trying to socialize and you have some sort of vision for how things should be, or how things should be, right? Should be. And you're surrounded by people basically telling you that that'll never work. We, in the old days, this is how we did stuff and that'll never work. And so just people with strong beliefs, with old beliefs that you could have been socializing with. And these people could have been uncertain about you, or you were uncertain about them with the Two of Swords. Let's look at that Two of Swords energy. So you were feeling kind of guarded as well, feeling kind of guarded. If you're around people that are expressing old beliefs, it's natural to be kind of guarded because we're not going to change them, right? But you felt undecided about something. It's almost like you could have been socializing and gotten into a discussion with somebody, but you were undecided. It was like, well, I'm in favor of this, but not of this, and da da da, and you were just undecided. So you were socializing, but you were socializing with a group of people that were holding on to their beliefs, and you were holding on to your beliefs as well. You were basically standing your ground. You could have also been waiting for someone else to make a move, maybe waiting for someone else to say something. You could have had a truce with somebody, possibly a truce with somebody after a disagreement in the past, which gave you time to consider your options. I mean, we are still in Mercury retrograde right now. And, I know this reading is timeless, but at the time of this reading that I'm doing it, we're going through Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde is about problems with communication, but you may also find that certain problems are solved with communication. Now, presently, Scorpio, you are juggling, Two of Pentacles, juggling, Two of Pentacles. You're basically working on scheduling. If I remember this card correctly, you are working on scheduling. You are working on planning. Yeah, you're trying to schedule things. You are trying to budget. You're constantly trying to figure out something that's always changing. You could also be making some sort of decision at this time. And you need to consider looking into the details. This does involve a person, okay? But this person is not healed. And I'll tell you why they're not healed. Because we have this Page of Swords card. This is the backstabber, okay? This is the person that talks about you behind your back. They're nice to your face, but they talk about you behind your back, and that's because they're not healed yet. Somebody who is nice to somebody's face, but then talks about them behind their back, has issues that go back as far as the age of 2 years old. And I've been studying child development and even doing my own inner work, and I have learned that certain issues can be traced back to certain developmental ages. And the person you're dealing with is a backstabber. They're two-faced. They will be nice to your face and then talk about you behind your back because their inner child needs were not met at the age of 2. But you have a bond with this person, 2 of Cups. I mean, Scorpios go through a lot. It's to me, it's one of those things where even though this person's not perfect, and nobody is, this could be a soulmate or a friendship, and they value your bond. And you need to appreciate them. Soulmates are here to teach us something. So if you have a soulmate that's two-faced, it could possibly be that there's something about you that's two-faced. Maybe sometimes, you hang out with people, but then when you're not around them, you talk behind their back, you know. Soulmates, sometimes they reflect back to us qualities in us that we have not healed yet. And but yeah, this person talks about you. They gossip about you. Um but you're dealing with a page. And I mean, I like pages, but me personally, I wouldn't marry one because then I'm really taking on a lot of responsibility. So, but they're feeling something for you. They got some sort of special bond with you. And with this Knight of Cups card, they could be in the idealization phase. Knight of Cups, spirituality. You have to look at this person's actions. You can't look at what they say, how they have all these dreams. You have to look at their actions. Because to me, Knight of Cups represents somebody who is, in dream world, la la land, never, never, never land. They're idolizing you. They're obsessed with you. They look up to you. They think you're awesome, Scorpio. But the problem is idealization is not a healthy coping skill. I mean, it's just not. And there are other coping skills out there. I've learned in my journey that there is a term called black and white thinking. And this person has you all in the white. They think you're awesome. You're the best. You're awesome. But no, Scorpio, you have both good and bad in you. Everyone has good and bad. Nobody is completely all good or all bad. But this person's putting you on a pedestal. They're putting you on a pedestal. And I don't know if you're going to be able to live up to this person's high expectations because you are a human being. Anyways, yeah, I don't think this is funny. I'm just laughing because I'm like, idealization does not work out. Like, it just doesn't. Like, you have the honeymoon phase, and then once the idealization phase is over, it's done, right? They don't idolize you anymore, whoever this is. And for all you know, they could put you from the white into the black. You do something they don't like, and okay, now you're all bad. Now I wish I never married you. And I'm not saying this person's that way, but some people are. And the idealization phase, I mean, do you really want to get involved with somebody who looks up to you like you're the adult and they're the child? And it's just all sorts of wrong. I mean, in my book, maybe I'm kind of judgmental. I don't know, but that's just how I see it. I mean, I get that, we all come from different walks of life, but me personally, I would just not feel comfortable taking advantage of somebody that looked up to me. I would be like, that's great that they look up to me, but I'm just plain old Amanda. I'm not the princess or the perfect woman or the fairy tale queen or bride. I'm just plain old Amanda. But here's and maybe that's what you should tell them, Scorpio. Maybe you should tell them that you're just a regular person. And this is why you need to stay away from this person. We have 7 of Swords, theft, This is for the future. This person's going to come back, okay, and they're either going to leave or they're going to try to lie about something. I normally interpret Seven of Swords as leaving lately, because I've noticed when I'm leaving a situation, that Seven of Swords will show up. But you have the potential to lose a lot of things that you have worked hard for if you let this person back in your life. Somebody could also steal your ideas or your peace of mind. And that's what I was talking about earlier. If you let somebody move in and they act like a little kid, that steals your peace of mind. You also may be undermined by negative people in the future. You need to be cautious in the future. You may have some sort of mistrust towards this person, and you may think that they're turning elsewhere. There's some sort of feeling of insecurity. But sometimes the card comes up to show fear rather than reality. So you could be afraid of somebody or something and it never happens. But because of this fear, it looks like you're ending a cycle. I see you stepping into your independence with the Queen of Swords energy. You're stepping into your independence. So if the Seven of Swords is not about them, this is you leaving them. You're leaving a situation behind. Queen of Swords, okay? Queen of Swords. You're cutting this person out of your life. So Queen of Swords, you're feeling very determined. But you may be kind of too critical of yourself at this time. But you may also be feeling highly self-reliant. And this Queen suggests you call upon inner strength and logic rather than emotion. So don't go based on emotion. If this person is idolizing you and they're looking for you to come save them, you need to study family systems theory. Family systems theory will show you the triangle where you have the victim, the rescuer, the villain, and everyone's at odds, and the great dysfunctionalness of it all, the great dysfunctionality, whatever word you want to use. So you need to use logic and your book smarts or whatever kind of intelligence or smarts you have in the future to stay away from that person. Because if you use emotion, and they're idolizing you, you could get stuck in that family system's dysfunctional family model where you're the rescuer, they're the victim, and this, and it's just not healthy. Okay, it's just not healthy. So you're isolating yourself. Five of Pentacles. You put yourself in the timeout chair. It's like, no, I'm not going to play this game. And so you're worried about losing money rather than your true situation now. So you could be focused on your finances at this time. Maybe you were taken advantage of in the past and somebody did live off you or use you for money. And you're bringing the past into this present situation, but in the future, you're still going to be stuck in your head possibly about it. Now, if this is about a friendship group, you could be leaving a group because you're afraid of being rejected or excluded. Or you could be feeling alone after the breakup of a close relationship. Know that any feelings of insecurity are temporary, and this situation will pass. Now we have the World card, the Angel of Success card. It's the end of a very long cycle for you. Sometimes I see the Ten of Swords and I'm like, okay, it was the end of a short cycle. Is that it? I'm still learning tarot, but I'm like, Ten of Swords, end of a short cycle, right? But when you see this World card, to me, it looks like the end, the end of a series of 10 of Swords cycles, okay? This is the end. It's almost like you're done. You're done with bad boys, you're done with um people that cannot be fixed, which you could never fix them anyways, but you're done with all that. With this world card, you're going into a new life phase. Power affirmation is I am blessed with health, wealth, and love. People think money is the solution to everything, Scorpio, but money can help us, but it's not what brings us happiness. What brings us happiness is having good health. Now, if you can use whatever kind of money you have to buy oranges, apples, healthy foods for yourself, and you can have good health, you're going to bring in that happiness. But with this, you are blessed with health, wealth, and love. Okay? So people love you. You may not feel like they do at this time because you're alone in the future, but they love you. You could also be going to social events that make you feel valued. So even though you're leaving a group of people or a soulmate, you're going to start branching out and going to social events. And I don't know what those social events are, but it reminds me of when I was in college and I would get lonely and I would go to different social events hosted by the school on campus after hours. And then I didn't feel so lonely. And it was just a period of self development for me, or professional development, whatever you want to call it. But so you're following your path and you're attracting security and money. Infinite possibilities for the future. Enjoy your achievements and look ahead to your next goals. It's time for new and exciting beginnings, okay? It's almost like you cracked some sort of code, and I don't know what code that was, but it's almost like you kept going through the same thing over and over again and you cracked it. I've been on my own journey, and for me, it's like I've always had people that came into my life and tried to control me and tried to tell me who I should be and what I should do. And, if I tried to have a voice, they basically told me to shut up. And not all of them, but I just, I kept staring at them like, what is wrong with this person? And that's how I went through life, was staring at them like, what is wrong with this person? And eventually, all the people that tried to control me left my life. They just disappeared. I mean, like, not like disappeared, like as in vanished into thin air, but they either passed away or I stopped seeing them or stopped talking to them, and I don't know what kind of code you broke, but there's something that people kept trying to do to you, and you just waited and waited and waited and you broke it. And your attitude about everything is the Queen of Pentacles, comfort. You're focused on comfort right now. You're not focused on love. So you could be like looking at magazines and you're like, yeah, I'm going to buy a pillow, or I'm going to buy some pens, or I'm going to buy something that makes the house more comfortable. Comfort. Because whatever happened in the past, you can't change it, but you can change the little things, like little things in your environment. You could be focused on kindness at this time or connecting to nature. Like you feel like walking or nurturing your garden or spending time with animals. Clarifying the Queen of Pentacles. This is you loving yourself. This is how you love yourself. Ace of Cups. So you love yourself by, some of you may be going on shopping sprees, but it's not like it's extravagant. Queen of Pentacles is about comfort, but it's not about extravagance. It's not about, I'm going to buy a big screen TV. It's more like, I'm going to buy some nail clippers, or I'm going to buy some nail polish, little things that make me feel special. And so we have this Ace of Cups, you giving love to yourself. That is your attitude. You're drinking from your own cup, and you have a happy feeling of togetherness within yourself and within existing relationships. Nurture whatever brings you happiness. Now, we also have the Moon card, the Angel of Dreams card. Now, this is kind of a smoky trail for you because you may not be used to taking care of yourself. The power affirmation is, I appreciate what my intuition is telling me and connect with my deeper self. So you could also be paying attention to your dreams at this time. So if your dreams tell you that something's going to make you happy, you go ahead and do it. Like, oh, I had a dream that I went to the beach and it was great, and so I went to the beach, your intuition will speak to you, take notice, and trust that any changes you make as a result are for your higher good. So your intuition's going to tell you what you need as far as self-love goes, okay? This is about following your inner voice, instead of following everyone else's voice and what everyone else wants you to do. This is about following your inner voice. We also have the Hanged Man, Angel of Prophecy, okay? So you could also be feeling kind of stuck. It's almost like, and you are detaching. I am waiting for a reason, and I make the most of the time I am given to gain new insight. And you're trying to see a situation from another angle, but it's just hard because you're so used to doing what everyone else wants you to do. It's like it's almost like a group of people are making you take care of yourself, and you're like, no, I don't want to take care of myself. No, I don't want to focus on myself. Like, there is resistance here. Like, there is resistance because you feel stuck. You're trying to learn about detachment. You're trying to detach. I recommend listening to music and burning incense if you can stand it. Not everyone likes incense. I was watching a video today about psychedelics, and I'm not advocating illegal drugs, but from what I learned today, some of the psychedelics can bring us back into a feeling of connecting with other people. Now, granted, the psychedelics have side effects like stomach problems, nausea, stuff like that. But psychedelics are powerful because in one or two uses, they can bring a person back to their center and focused on the now. Antidepressants take like 6 weeks to work, but psychedelics can really bring people back to focusing on the now. And when we don't focus on the now and we focus on the past a lot and our mind wanders, that's what makes us unhappy. But my point is that you need to see your situation from another angle. See this as the vacation you've always wanted because you're finally being able to take care of yourself. That is your attitude, is taking care of yourself. Your influence is the Three of Pentacles, action, action. So it's almost like even though you had some sort of soulmate connection in the past, well, it says it was in the present position, but this is turning into more of a collaboration than anything. Okay. You're learning about teamwork and clarifying that. We have the Six of Wands, the Eight of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. It's almost like you saw some sort of truth, and that was why you left. That's what I'm getting now. You had left because you saw some sort of truth. And it doesn't even have to be a truth about other people. It could have been a truth about yourself. You could have realized that you're not healed yet. You could have seen the truth of a situation. And this is a clean break with the past. You understand just how to move forward. And with that Six of Wands, we have recognition. So this is another victory card. That's two victory cards. And then you're leaving. Eight of Cups, okay? So it's almost like you're comparing a situation and you're being like, well, this reminds me of a situation from the past. This looks exactly like a situation from the past, and you're just leaving. So If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck. So that's what's influencing you is you're like, this is a duck. Time to leave, time to leave with that 8 of Cups. It kind of reminds me of a comedian. There was a comedian named Carlos Mencia, and years ago, during one of his comedy routines, he said that white people are so slow, and I'm wording it my own way. He didn't say slow, he used another word, but he was like, white people will go after wild animals. And he said other animals don't do that. Other animals, they don't swim after sharks. The fish see a shark and they'll be like, it's a shark, he'll eat you, go away. And that's what's influencing you reminds me of, because it's almost like you could have been dealing with somebody who hurt you in the past, and then in the present, you're seeing the potential for somebody else to hurt you. You're recognizing certain things. The alarms are going off in your head. Get away. It's a shark. It's a shark. He'll eat you. Get away, and you're leaving. The obstacle to the situation is the star. You're trying to heal, but it's hard for you to heal. And I'm laughing because it kind of reminds me of when I was in middle school and I fell out of a tree and I bounced on my ankle. I put my ankle underneath me while I was falling. And of course, I ended up going to the ER afterwards, and to make sure that my spine was okay. And I had to get a cast or some sort of brace because I had sprained my ankle, and I was glad that I sprained my ankle and didn't hurt my spine. And that was the reason why I put my foot underneath me while I was falling. But having that sprained ankle and being a middle schooler, I hated it. Like, I hated just, oh, I can't go outside because, if I were to go outside, I wouldn't be able to play, and I have to walk on crutches now. And so it's like, healing for you is an obstacle because maybe you just want to go out and play. You want to be like all the other normal adults, and you can't because you're healing. Power affirmation is, I am inspired and fulfilled. Let your intuition guide you toward a path of healing and creativity. Whew. Clarifying that, we have Knight of Swords, Nine of Wands, and the Sun. Knight of Swords drama. This is why it's hard for you to heal, Scorpio. You may be so used to drama after everything that has happened in your life. Now, the Knight of Swords is not a bad person necessarily, but this is the type of person, like a typical Scorpio will tell people what's wrong with them. Somebody makes you angry, and you're going to flip sometimes, and you're going to be like, well, let me tell you what's wrong with you. And Knight of Swords, in my book, I don't necessarily want to say it's worse than the Page of Swords, because the Page of Swords gossips, but Knight of Swords is kind of like the Page of Swords, except Knight of Swords will tell you to your face what's wrong with you. So that is the difference between you and your soulmate. Your soulmate will talk about you behind your back, but you will tell your soulmate to their face what is wrong with them. And it's because part of you is not healed yet. Okay, if you've been verbally abused in childhood or talked down to, or people treated you like you were nothing, and you are filled with toxic shame, that is coming out right now. You are giving back to people what they put into you. And it's giving you little bursts of happiness, but it's not helping you heal, because we have the Nine of Wands and the Sun card. Whenever you do this, whenever you sting people, it's because you are very guarded with the Nine of Wands. I mean, it says determination, but With that Knight of Swords, I think you are determined to tell people about themselves, and that's what's an obstacle for your healing right now, because people are going to be who they're going to be. They don't care, if you tell them off, like, well, you're a cheater, or you're a liar, or you're this, or you're that. They don't care. They know who they are and they don't care. But you're still telling them off, and it's giving you a short burst of happiness, but it's not helping you heal because you're still in contact with those people. True healing is not when you keep texting your ex and saying you're a jerk, you're a jerk, you're a jerk. I think they even made a song like that, jerk, jerk, jerk. I don't know, but the point is if you were truly healed, you wouldn't still be contacting them. To truly heal is to not contact them and to focus on that Ace of Cups like you were doing in the present. So it's almost like you're alternating from loving yourself to fussing someone out, and you keep going back and forth, and you're trying to find some sort of balance. The balance is when you are fully committed to yourself instead of going back to these past people and being like, let me tell you about you. It kind of reminds me of a drunk person. Not saying you are drunk or that you drink, but that is one of the habits of some drunk people is they will be like, well, let me tell you about you, and so it's just stooping to their level, and I would find a way to stop doing it. But the outcome of everything is the 7 of Cups. You've got choices, okay? You've got a lot of choices. After you finally balance out, you're going to have a lot of choices, and hopefully they're good choices and not, what you used to be surrounded by. Okay. You could also be having some sort of wishful thinking in the future, since it looks like you've cut nearly everyone off from your life, or a lot of people from your life. You may be daydreaming in the future. Disney does this to us. Disney tells women, that you can meet a perfect prince, and there is no perfect prince, okay? Um, when you meet the guy for you, he's going to have good and bad qualities about him. He's not going to be perfect. We have the Hierophant, the 3 of Swords, and the 8 of Pentacles. So you're still stuck in your head. You're still stuck in your head. You may be daydreaming, but you realize that you're daydreaming. With this 3 of Swords, you realize that you're daydreaming. You see a situation for what it is, and it could be that your daydreams are even what's hurting you. When you daydream and you're like, well, if I could just find the perfect man, your daydreams could be hurting you. But you're dedicated to them. Even if they are hurting you, you're dedicated to them. 8 of Pentacles. We also have the Hierophant, Angel of Blessings. Hierophant, Angel of Blessings. So it's almost like you have all these daydreams, but you're stuck in your ways. Okay, you're stuck in your ways, which is making it hard for you to find somebody. Listen to your inner voice and trust in your angels. You're opening the door to a new world. It's time to get the right support to take the next step, accept guidance. So, some of you may need to start therapy and you don't know where to start. A good place to start is, talking about your head, your daydreams. Why do you get so hooked on your daydreams? Why do you get so hooked up in fantasy? What do you think's going to happen that's going to be the solution to everything? Because maybe the therapist or whoever they are can help you untangle the fantasies and how you get tripped up. Well, you don't see coming as Eight of Swords restriction. You are going to be stuck in your head at some point. Eight of Swords. Um, you got two nines clarifying this. Oh my God, three nines. What in the world, Scorpio? Three nines. So Eight of Swords is about you being stuck in your head, okay? Yeah, that Hierophant card, to me, it's, it makes me think of somebody that's set in their ways. It could be that you're the type of person that has your house a certain way, and you really do wish you had somebody, but you know that if you had somebody, you'd have to make room for their space and for them in general, like if they were to live with you. Or if you were to live with them, you'd have to give up your space and your stuff and go live with them. And you just don't want to do it, but you still hold on to those daydreams. Eight of Swords, change must come, but you can't quite see how. So the question is, how are you going to become free again? Um, you could also be dealing with a partner that won't commit or open up emotionally, leaving you lonely. Now, clarifying this Eight of Swords, like this blew my mind, like three nines, Nine of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and Nine of Swords. Okay, all that glitters is not gold, right? Kind of reminds me of how people talk about Hollywood and Tinseltown. I mean, look at this. You got all this stress with the Nine of Swords because you're independent and blessed, blessings and comfort. So you're stressed about having to manage everything in your life right now. You're stressed about being independent. You're stressed about becoming a complete person. It just stresses you out. Like, um, it's almost like some of you are becoming single for the first time. With the Nine of Cups, while you're euphoric, however, be sensitive to those who may find it difficult to accept your good fortune, particularly if they're struggling just now. But do count your blessings and focus on what you want next. Make a wish and ask your angels to help you make it a reality. So you're going to get in that Nine of Cups energy eventually. And when you do, you can make a wish. So, Nine of Pentacles, you will have or will attain the money or abundance you desire to create a near perfect lifestyle. What's more important, perhaps, is that you feel that the work you do is valid and you can support yourself. Okay? You could also be, like I said earlier in the reading, buying an item for your home or redecorating rooms. That was something new that came up, was the redecorating rooms. But this is beautiful energy. It just looks like you're struggling. And with that Nine of Swords, you're not struggling financially, or in your heart. It's like financially you're good, in your heart you're good, but your mind is where you're struggling. It's day and night you're struggling in that mind. Eight of Swords for day and Nine of Swords for night. You're struggling in your mind. Some of you could be having panic attacks. But with that Nine of Cups energy, you need to be sensitive to people around you. Don't flaunt what you've got, because some people around you may be struggling at this time, and don't rub it in their face. I mean, if you were struggling, you wouldn't want somebody to rub their success in your face. You just wouldn't like it. So what I recommend, is if you're dealing with somebody who seems jealous of you, you need to tell them that your life's not perfect. And I'll be the first to tell anyone on here that my life's not perfect. I have gastritis. I have a gallstone that the doctor wants to remove. My life is not perfect. And, so, um, I'm sure there are some people that look at me and they think that my life is perfect, but it's not. I have to take Prilosec every day, which isn't so bad. But not only do I have to take Prilosec, I have to watch what I eat. I have to eat mainly vegetables and drink my water, and I have to take care of myself. So, my life is not perfect. And if people act jealous of you, that's what you need to tell them, is that your life is not perfect. All that glitters is not gold, or whatever the phrase. I'm going to pull some Crystal Power tarot cards for you, and then I'm going to end this reading. But it looks like you're going on a path by yourself. And it kind of reminds me of one of the tarot card readers I like to listen to. And I think for one of his readings, he said healing is a solo journey. And it really is. I mean, I remember the first time I ever went away to college when I was younger. And I hated it. I was in a dorm room by myself because I came to the school early. I started early. And I just crawled underneath a blanket and felt like I was in a deep dark hole because I didn't have my mom. And I hated it. And then after that first semester, somewhere in the middle of the first semester, I kind of got, stable. But after that first semester, I was good, and I got even better after the second semester. And I got used to my independence. I got used to being alone and being happy. But at the very beginning, I was like, oh my God. And you've got all these swords. Ace of Swords, Two of Swords, Three of Swords, Four of Swords, Five of Swords. You just take all the swords, Scorpio. So we have I am guided and protected on my life journey, and I will heal myself. You're starting a new beginning where you're healing yourself. Whatever the doctor told you or whoever told you, you're like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to go home and heal myself. So regardless of whether it's physical or psychological, some of you are just healing yourselves. You're starting on a new beginning of healing yourself. Whatever I decide, I trust in the outcome, and I take the time I need to rediscover my vitality. You're trying to get your energy back. And this energy kind of reminds me of Johnny Depp, because there's a video of Johnny Depp. You don't see his face, but Amber Heard's trying to get back with him, and he just sounds so tired. And he's basically telling her to go away because she took so much from him. So whatever you went through, you're taking the time you need to rediscover your vitality. You're resting. And you're ready for a breakthrough to success, and you are strong for as long as you need to be strong. You're being strong. You get the Three of Swords again. I see things exactly as they are, and the Hermit card, I follow my own path. Another card about following your own path, because to me, the Fool is also about following your own path. So that's all I have, Scorpio. Thank you for coming to this reading. I would give whatever is going on, depending on your situation, I would give it 3 months. Because it took me 3 months to get used to being independent at school. But I was at school. So I don't know your particular situation. I wasn't really looking for any time frames in the cards. I'm not that skilled yet, and it also depends on the type of deck I'm using. But for some people, it would take 3 months. For some people, it would take 6 months. Everyone's healing is different. But if you're like me, and you can go to social events and do what you want and socialize, you could be fine possibly in about 3 months if that's what makes you feel better. But I don't know, I'm not in your head. So I mean, I'm a Scorpio, but I'm just one Scorpio out of many. So, um thank you for coming to this reading. God bless.